Updates about the budget to fund Trump's border wall has been announced. We'll have these details coming up.
Also, we get to know a local author whose latest novel was inspired by Las Vegas history. We have all this and more. You're watching Studio G.
Good afternoon, Rebels, and welcome to Studio G. I'm Jessica Vargas.
And I'm Jamie Poole.
President Trump has backed away from insisting that Congress grant funding for a border wall before the budget deadline next week. But as the week winds down, the first 100 days in office are beginning to be Trump's true report card. There has been a flood zone approach by the White House this week, trying to show action and motion on a number of fronts. But perhaps the most important motion in Washington this week will be avoiding a government shutdown. A congressional source that reported to CNN says congressional Republicans have privately proposed a funding bill that does not have funding for the president's border wall, showing they're not worried about the booking the president to get a deal done. Democratic Senator Chuck Schumer echoed this voice during a speech of his in the Senate chambers.
So long as we try to operate within the parameters our parties have operated under for the last few spending bills, I'm optimistic about the chances for a deal. I'm glad that the president has taken the wall off the table in the negotiations. Democrats have always been for border security. In fact, we supported one of the toughest border security packages and comprehensive immigration reform in an amendment introduced by two of my Republican colleagues, Senator Hoeven and Senator Corker.
With just days left for Congress to pass a funding bill and avoid a government shutdown, the White House has been sending mixed messages on what could be a major sticking point for the Trump presidential legacy. White House press correspondent responded to those concerns during a White House press briefing.
His priorities have not changed. There will be a wall built. It's important to prevent human trafficking, gangs like MS-13 from coming into the country, the flow of illegal drugs, illegal immigration. There is a national and economic safety issue by having a wall that ensures our country's safety. There's two budget processes. Right now, we're going to end FY17 this week. We hope to continue to get funding in that, as the president laid out, for both border security and homeland security and national defense, as we've always maintained. And then when we come to FY18, that starts at the end of or beginning of October, the end of September, in that next budget, we'll go for the next group of money.
So
but
you expect partial funding?
I think we're going to we've made our priorities very clear as we continue to negotiate, and I think nothing has changed on the president's priorities.
Should be done. While the budget battle could be winding down, President Trump is aiming to deliver on another key campaign promise, reforming tax reform and doubling down on his promise for a wall along the border of Mexico. The 100th day of Trump's presidency is this Saturday, and it will be left to be seen how Trump measures up to presidential standards.
In New Orleans, the statues and monuments to Confederate soldiers and leaders are being taken down, drawing ear from not just the community but from the country as well. The first 4 monuments honoring Confederate history were removed in New Orleans this week. According to the Times-Picayune newspaper, during the process of taking down the statues, police snipers were positioned on nearby rooftops. Company names on trucks along with equipment that was contracted to make the removals were covered up. Some locals of New Orleans expressed their displeasure.
Really quick, you gonna show me your grandfather's name?
He's on Troop F right there, Thomas McIntyre. And during his time in the military, when he was talked about in the newspaper, it was always the sterling Captain Thomas McIntyre. He was a well-respected guy in New Orleans. As most of these people on here, on different sides, they were all New Orleans, affluent guys who built businesses and things and served the war. None of them owned slaves. None of them were fighting for slavery. My great-grandfather had just come from Ireland.
The debate about the worth and ethics of maintaining the statues with public funds has been a major issue in New Orleans for years. Only now the city of New Orleans is doing something about it above local consensus. A federal judge in Louisiana affirmed the city's right to move them in March, and the city has since acquired the private funding needed to do so, prompting some to see the removal as something bigger.
Middle of the night, nobody knows who's paying for it. There's tape on all the things. Everybody's face is covered. This is America. This is the country you want to live in. Amen, brother. Whether you agree with it or not. This is communism. This is what they did pre-World War II. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, yellow, red. It might be this monument today, but what's tomorrow?
Because of threats and security risks, the city will not publicly disclose details for the next 3 removals. The statues will go to storage while the city looks for a suitable museum to display them.
This weekend, Aid for AIDS of Nevada, the largest AIDS service organization in the state, hosted their annual fundraiser.
The 27th annual AFAN AIDS Walk is happening here today at Town Square. The day kicked off with a festival to help walkers get warmed up. Opening acts included Zodiac Dragon and Human Nature. Dozens of vendors, from drugstores to hair salons, were there to show support. James Healy, president of Las Vegas Pride, told us why he thinks the AIDS Walk is important.
Every year we like to come out here and show the support with the community, make sure we're rallying the community, getting all of our membership to come out and support AFAN in order to raise money to help beat AIDS, because we know we can find a cure.
It was an event meant for the whole family to come out and have a good time, including the family pet.
Looking forward to it, seeing like all the families and bring a wider, diverse community here and celebrate, and bring awareness to it.
Las Vegas local and RuPaul's Drag Race star Coco Montrese stole the show with her performance. Plenty of performers from the Strip were present, including Grand Marshals Penn and Teller, who introduced Carrot Top before the walk began. This year, AFAN says they raised almost $300,000 for AIDS prevention and services that help those who are affected. With all the money raised here today, it seems like AFAN is one step closer to finding a cure. For Studio G, I'm Annabelle Rocha.
It is estimated that 5,500 people attended the event.
Coming up, we take a look at what's going on around the valley. We'll be right back.
Sunday evening jazz. I mainly play a lot of contemporary jazz music from the 1960s up until about 2012, 2013. When I go on, just explain who it was, the name of the song, the name of the artist, maybe the name of the album, their career. I just hope that everybody enjoys it and appreciate it for the kind of music it is and how great it is. My name is Sam, and I host Sunday Evening Jazz on the rebelhd2.com.
Your boy Miles Lowe.
It's your girl Scribe Cash.
My name's Fabian Stefan,
Perpetual Player One.
And I'm your host, Brandy the Prince Madison.
My name is Haley Rogers.
From the Miles Lowe Midweek Show.
The Scribe Cash radio show.
You can listen to Pixel Jam.
Press start to play.
And this is the Takeover.
Rock on Rebel.
On KUNV-HD2.
From the rebelhd2.com.
Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing, you get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own, and that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
Welcome back to Studio G. Let's take a look at some of the biggest headlines in the Valley.
The man accused of threatening to kill his daughters and parents with a butcher knife in 2014 was arrested on Sunday on multiple charges. According to the Review-Journal, Paul Thomas Freeman was arrested on 1 count of attempted murder with a deadly weapon, 4 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, 3 counts of child abuse or neglect, and 1 count of coercion with force or threat of force. During the 2014 incident, Freeman confronted his mother about the attempt to evict him from her residence while they were driving home. According to the Las Vegas police report, during the confrontation, he grabbed the steering wheel of the vehicle and tried to force it into oncoming traffic while his 2 daughters were in the car. Later that day, he picked up his 9-month-old daughter by the hair and held a butcher knife to her throat.
A longtime Las Vegas attorney and Vietnam War veteran died early Monday morning. John Mitchell Kobiaga died 2 days after his 75th birthday from complications related to his hip surgery he had last month. He argued civil and commercial cases in Las Vegas with an emphasis on evasion of law.
After some confusion, a bill that requires a court to appoint an attorney to represent a child in cases of alleged abuse or neglect passed on Monday. According to the Review-Journal, the bill included a fee increase to $6 for certain documents to fund legal services for abused and neglected services. It was originally 1 vote short of a 2/3 majority that would be required to pass the bill due to the fee increase. However, after a discussion on the floor, it was clarified that the bill would not prohibit a court from also appointing a guardian to represent a child in abuse or neglect cases. If this were to happen, the attorney and the guardian could not be the same person. The Senate voted a second time and received the 2/3 majority the bill needed to pass. It will now go to the Assembly.
Las Vegas Metropolitan Police are asking the public for their help in identifying 3 people suspected of stealing from stores across the valley. The suspects were, quote, black males in their late teens or early 20s, and all wearing hoodies with their hoods up. They entered stores during business hours and grabbed as many items as they could before running from the store to a car parked nearby. The police did not identify the businesses that were targeted, but 2 incidents occurred in downtown Summerlin and at Town Square.
Convenience store and gas station chain Maverick plans to open a 4th location in Clark County. According to the Review-Journal, county commissioners recently approved permits related to a planned location near the intersection with Russell Road. The Salt Lake City-based company has 3 other locations in Clark County and can be found on North Moapa Valley Boulevard, near the intersection of South Fort Apache Road and Sunset Road, and near the intersection of Bermuda Road and Cactus Avenue.
Brandon Flowers is selling an estate that has been owned by numerous legends in Las Vegas. According to the Review-Journal, the frontman for the Killers listed his home on Pinto Lane for $4.9 million. Flowers purchased the home in 2010 for $3.99 million and has spent more than $2 million in renovations. The estate was built in 1961 and has been the residence of Las Vegas legends, including Howard Hughes and Andre Agassi.
One local author is celebrating her new book coming out, and she was inspired by Las Vegas history.
Las Vegas is a city where people in 1 generation, in 2 generations, can change generations of history.
That's Laura McBride, a local published author who teaches composition and literature at the College of Southern Nevada. Her new novel, Round Midnight, will appear in May 2017.
It is a story set in Las Vegas. It takes place over 60 years. It's built around a little nightclub, and it starts in the 50s, and it touches on the history of Las Vegas as a place with established segregation. So we had a lot of black performers in the casinos, we had black employees in the casinos, but people who were black were not able to watch the shows or stay in the casinos or eat in the restaurants. And I think that there's something about Las Vegas in that history, and it was just a little inspiration for a story that started there.
Las Vegas serves as a source of inspiration for the distinguished author.
I don't know where you could live that would have more stories than Las Vegas. I didn't come here because I wanted to come to Las Vegas. I sort of came as a tag-along, and it took me a long time to accept that my life was going to be here, and that meant I wouldn't get to do some things I always thought I would do. But now I look back at it and see all the ways that I was enriched by living in Las Vegas. I have come to love people who don't think the way I do, and they don't believe what I believe, and they don't live the way that I live. And I think that's a privilege. And I think that if I had lived in a place that I would have chosen, I could also have chosen to be only around people who were like me. And that would have been so much less.
Reporting for Studio G, I'm Nicole Soto.
Laura McBride's new novel debuts on May 8th.
The Pirate Festival is back again. Studio G reporter Kayleen Talents met up with the lasses and lads to see what the festival is all about.
Ahoy mateys, calling all ladies and gents here at the Pirate Festival. Absolutely anyone can be a pirate.
Well, Pirate Festival is just a great event for people to come together that have shared interests in pirates, fairies, steampunk, those different kind of things. And they come out to this 3-day festival, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and there's a lot of good food, drink, shows, music, juggling. There are a lot of different pirate camps that are camped out here, and you can just kind of experience the lifestyle.
Lauren Becker elaborates on why and how Zappos became the sponsor of the Pirate Festival.
Zappos came on board the second year, and Rich and Jan, who operate and run the festival, reached out to Zappos for some sponsorship, and that rolls into the department that I oversee at Zappos, where we do community sponsorships events. And we started talking about what the festival was about, and at first, pirates, Zappos, customer service shoes didn't necessarily kind of line up, but they started talking about an idea of having a cardboard regatta, and right away that excited me and Zappos because it checks off a lot of cool things in our culture and our core values as far as doing more with less.
Our fellow pirates were able to describe the Pirate Festival in one word.
I would say magical. Cleavage.
Extraordinary.
It's bootyful. Goonerific.
Thinking.
Arr. Fan-freaking-tastic.
Steampunkin-tastic.
Delicious.
Booty.
For Studio G, I'm Kayleen Talents.
Arr.
The Pirate Festival is an annual event that takes place in April.
Now let's take a look at our weather with Lee.
Thank you, lasses. I'm Lee Guilford. This is your weather. Today at UNLV, we're looking at approximately 73 degrees. We're looking at a high of 83. Low, we're dropping down for the 60s today. Warm, not quite that devil's armpit warm that we're used to out here in the desert, but nonetheless, good weather. A lot better than they are in Stockton, California, where we have our picture of the day from. This is off the campus of Delta College. The photograph is courtesy of Christine Huerta. Thank you for the photograph. This is the campus of Delta College. It's currently cloudy over there. Stockton, California, home of the Asparagus Festival. Normally used to much better weather at this time of the year. Unfortunately for them, it kind of stinks. Let's take a look at what we have to look forward to right now. As far as the week goes, we've got Thursday and Friday in the 80s. We're going to dip down over the weekend, actually. We're looking at 70-degree temperatures, which is that perfect pool party weather for you. Speaking of pool parties, a friend of mine, DJ Snow, is hosting one at the Palazzo next month, in honor of the Billboard Music Awards. I'm excited to see her. I haven't seen her since the Grammys. Let's look at the rest of the week now. We're going to see a high of 88, dropping down into the 50s overnight for the weather. That's that kind of leave your window or your weather open window or your windows open weather right there, As for the rest of the valley, we're looking at 74 up in Centennial Hills. We're going on down to 72 across the northeast side of the valley, 73 down in Nellis, 73 in Southern Highlands. We've got a high today of Green Valley. That's looking at 76. Summerlin at 72 is always warm over there. Coming back to UNLV, we're going to take a look right now at what we're doing. We've got currently 75 degrees, mostly sunny. We're looking at some winds picking up later on. It's going to be up to 17-degree gusts. Have a windbreak or something like that. Make sure you're staying warm, but overall, great weather. Again, leave your windows open at night. We'll look at that nighttime forecast, actually. It's looking at 66 degrees. We're looking a lot warmer tonight than we will be over the weekend. Once again, save your AC bills. Trust that to come in. Across the nation is where we're going to have a lot of fun right now. We'll start looking over at the West Coast first. The West Coast has 62 degrees. We see that typical rain coming down from the Pacific Northwest there. That humidity that we've known Portland, Seattle, and everything up there is famous for. Rapid City, Dakotas, 43 degrees, kind of chilly there. We look at the East Coast. We're working our way down from 55 up in the high Northeast in Boston. Say hi to Terp and Robert out there. All the way down to Florida. Miami's looking at 84. Orlando's a nice warm 89. That's that kind of weather that we tend to enjoy and we're more known for out here. As for the rest of the day, we look forward to great weather. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. Now we'll take a break. When we come back later, we'll kick it to the studio. Thank you.
get to do an internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for a journalism major is you have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that that your graduation is coming up soon. You're going to have to need some work experience in your career. So it's really good to put yourself out there early on, and they tend to help students a lot more. So when you do a student internship, it really helps out a lot.
Welcome back to Studio G. Let's see what's going on right here at UNLV. What have you got for us, Alyssa?
Good afternoon, Rebels. I'm Alyssa Truesdell, and I have all your campus news for today. UNLV Career Services is hosting an internship and summer job fair today. Students and alumni looking for a summer internship or securing an internship for the fall are welcome to attend. Participating employers include the Clark County School District, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, the Mandarin Oriental Hotel and Casino, the Peace Corps, Tesla, and the Wynn Hotel and Casino. This event is free for current UNLV students and alumni and goes until 2 p.m. today in the Student Union Ballroom. Attendees are encouraged to bring plenty of copies of their resumes. UNLV's new Academic Multicultural Resource Center opened last Friday. The intersection focuses on academics and seeks to improve the retention, progression, and graduation of students. It provides students with a starting point for locating academic and social resources to help them navigate campus and graduate. The Multicultural Center is located on the first floor of the Student Union and serves as a physical space for students to share ideas and develop a sense of belonging and community. The Scientista Fantasia chapter of UNLV will be hosting an event in honor of remarkable women in STEM. Beyond Curry will highlight the work of neuroscientist turned graphic designer Amanda Fing Bodhi-Pakaya in her Beyond Curry project, which consists of a series of 32 posters dedicated to individual women whose achievements have been fundamental to modern scientific development. Fing Bodhi-Pakaya will be present to discuss her work on a panel consisting of Dr. Nora Cabaroy from Washington State University and Dr. Rochelle Hines from the University of British Columbia. There will be music, prizes, and food. This event is free and open to the public and will be held in the Marjorie Barrick Museum of Art exhibit hall from 5 to 7:30 p.m. Attendees are encouraged to donate $2 to $5. The UNLV Jazz Ensemble took first place in the Monterey Next Generation Jazz Festival. The festival is one of the most prestigious international collegiate jazz competitions, with some people comparing it to the NCAA Tournament of Jazz. The Jazz Ensemble opened their performance with a Duke Ellington composition known as Johnny Come Lately. It was arranged by a former UNLV student and current jazz instructor, Julian Tanaka. Other pieces performed by the Jazz Ensemble included Rail Trails by jazz trumpeter Clay Jenkins, which Tanaka also arranged, a classic Tad Jones piece called Basically Yours, and original student arrangement of Love for Sale. The UNLV Jazz Studies program will hold their annual Spring Jazz Festival in the Black Box Theater from May 1st through 3rd. The concerts will start at 7:30. Tickets can be purchased from the UNLV Performing Arts Center box office over the phone or online. They are $10, but discounted tickets are available for seniors, military members, and UNLV faculty and staff. Students may receive one free ticket with a valid ID. CSUN is having an HIV/AIDS event today in PETA Plaza until 6 p.m. CSUN will be joined by the AIDS Healthcare Foundation to promote awareness for the disease. The event is one of CSUN's last events for the year and hopes to provide students with resources and education related to HIV and AIDS. There will be free food, shirts, ribbons, and STD testing. Participants will be able to take pictures at the event and place it onto a large 6-foot mosaic that will be featured in the Student Union after the event. Those who attend are encouraged to wear red for support. That's all I have for your campus news. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Alyssa. The Journalism 433 students at UNLV just went out to San Diego to compete in the NSA competition. The Will Travel Lee Guilford was there as well.
I'm Lee Guilford, and today I'm on the campus of the University of California, San Diego, where UNLV's Journalism 433 Campaigns course is taking part in the National Student Advertising Campaigns competition.
Because I'm just going to I'll flip them, honestly, because it kind of looks good that you're like, now next. Okay.
Definitely should stay.
It'll give me a minute
here,
to
right?
This will be the students' chance to not only present to members of Taipei's marketing staff, but to various members of the American Advertising Federation as well.
And we microwave them in class to taste them.
and we had microwaves going down the hallways, and we had in class, we blew out a bank of the outlets. I mean, it just broke, flipped the circuit. Facilities got so mad, and I got called in. They're like, well, just don't microwave. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to taste the product?
Along with 13 other brands, Tarplay is part of the Agino.
The experience of participating in the major international national competition and how it works in the advertising world, because the projects that they're presenting it to the advertising professionals, to the people who have seen so many things in this world already. They're judging, but they're also providing feedback. And this experience, it's invaluable.
For Studio G, I'm Lee Guilford.
Over 150 schools competed nationwide, and UNLV took 6 in the region. Well done, Rebels.
The Black Mountain Institute hosted a literary show under the stars. Studio G reporter Ashley Renan has the story.
Today we celebrate American Dreams, a festival, here at the Red Rock Canyon Visitor Center. It was a literary night under the stars, as local and out-of-town authors gathered at the Red Rock Amphitheater. The festival was hosted by Executive Director of Black Mountain Institute Joshua Wolf-Shank, who is also Editor-in-Chief of The Believer.
I was quick out of the gate to suggest a theme. American Dreams, I said, because complexity and plurality is at the heart of the idea.
One by one, Shank introduced authors up to the stage as they poured their literary hearts out in front of a crowd and the Southwest landscape.
Sovereign of my heart, your temple is deep in the dead branches.
The Lord is one. Blessed be the name of his glorious kingdom forever and ever.
I have found a level headed, a mirror I can at the highest part of my body.
Guest attendees included literary enthusiasts like Drew Cohen, founder of the Downtown Las Vegas Writer's Block.
So I'm here to sell books for the event. We often collaborate with Black Mountain Institute at UNLV on their events. It's great to see Vegas getting talent of this caliber. I feel like we don't always get the opportunities to have authors pass through Vegas with regularity, so it's really exciting to have folks like Vendela Vida and Heidi Julevitz.
Reporting under the stars and for Studio G, I'm Ashley Renan.
We'll never forget Jimmy Carter. 38 years ago.
The festival continued through the weekend with several other events at the Mob Museum and the Bunkhouse Saloon.
Coming up, we learn about the therapeutic relationship between horses and people. We'll be right back.
Our Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing. You get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own. And that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
There are countless nonprofit organizations across the globe, a number of which are still unknown to many. Chastain Horse Park is an organization that provides therapeutic programs for children with special needs and those recovering from accidents. Parents are noticing that their children are reaching major milestones with the addition of horse therapy in their lives.
Joy and just really enjoys life.
And what changes have you seen in him?
In his leg strength, because I'm his horse at home, and I can feel his legs squeezing me tighter and tighter, so I can tell and feel the strength in which he has developed just being on the horses, and then also just his vocal.
These kids are inspiring. They're having trouble walking, and yet they get up on a horse and struggle and work, and it's just amazing to me to watch them do what they do.
The popularity of horse therapy is growing across the country. Here in Las Vegas, there are 2 organizations available for those who may be interested in joining. They are Spirit Therapies and White Horse Youth Ranch.
Thank you for watching Studio G. Be sure to follow us on social media at UNLV Studio. I'm Jessica Vargas.
And I'm Jamie Poole. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of Studio G.